will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid.
Joining all Democrats who oppose the bill, saying millions of people will lose health coverage and food assistance. Now, Tillis' opposition led President Trump to threaten to primary him out of office next year, calling him a complainer, not a doer, prompting the senator to announce he won't run for re-election in North Carolina.
Tillis issued a statement saying, in Washington over the last few years, it's become increasingly evident that leaders who are willing to embrace bipartisanship, compromise, and demonstrate independent thinking are becoming an endangered species.
That's Fox's Jill Nato. Trade talks resumed today between the U.S. and Canada with more tariffs looming.
The Canadians blinked in the trade war with the U.S. after President Trump announced that he was going to suspend all trade talks with our neighbors to the north. They decided to turn off a new tax one day before it was set to come due.
That's Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The U.S. and Iran will not be talking this week like President Trump had suggested last week following the airstrikes that hit Iran's nuclear facilities. As the head of the UN's atomic watchdog suggests, Iran could resume enriching uranium fuel within months.
President Trump on Fox's Sunday Morning Future said he's certain of how bombing runs on Iran's nuclear sites turned out.
It was obliterated like nobody's ever seen before. And that meant the end to their nuclear ambitions.
But the director of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Mariano Grossi, told CBS Face the Nation the sites may be destroyed, but as for the uranium,
some could have been destroyed as part of the attack, but some could have been moved. So there has to be, at some point, a clarification.
Grossi said that is why inspectors must have access to see what is there and what is not. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
As the Iran-Israel ceasefire keeps holding, another war that's been raging since the October 23 terror attack is back in focus.
For the first time in months, there is hope for a ceasefire agreement that could end the war in Gaza. Overnight, the Israeli Security Cabinet met to discuss a possible deal. And we do know that Ron Dermer, a top advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is in Washington today for high-level talks.
That's Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The sex trafficking and racketeering case against rapper and music producer Sean Diddy Combs goes to the jury in federal court in New York City today.
Sean Diddy Combs' fate will be in the hands of 12 men and women, the judge telling jurors he wants them to have fresh minds going into deliberations where they'll have to decide whose side of the story they believe.
That's Fox's CB Cotton. On Wall Street, stock futures rising up more than 200 points for the Dow, more than 100 for the NASDAQ, which had closed at a record high on Friday. In NASDAQ up about 6% so far for June. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
News Talk 710 KURV, broadcasting from the Valley's all-American truck headquarters studio at PayneAutomall.com.
It's the final day of June 2025. It's June 30th, 2025. Thank you much for making us a part of your morning. This is the Valley's Morning News. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with show producer Fred Cruz. And I believe it's AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordy. Jeffrey will be on standby, should join us in about 3 minutes and check the chance of rain for today. Well, the chance of rain, the cloud cover, going to lower temperatures just a bit. Still very hot outside, going to be in the mid-80s. 2 sad reminders to check vehicles in the valley for kids in this hot summer. First up in Mission, a man has been arrested following the death of a baby who was left in a hot vehicle. Investigators were called to Mission Regional Hospital on Saturday. 34-year-old Ricardo Mata allegedly admitted that he left a child in the back seat of a locked vehicle outside his home. He also reportedly admitted to drinking and forgetting that the child was inside the vehicle. He's been charged with injury to a child causing death. Another child lost in South Texas late last week, Brownsville. 34-year-old Karen Silva was arrested on Friday and charged with injury to a child causing death after a 4-year-old child died inside a daycare van in Brownsville. Police were called to the Learning Club preschool on Pettis Line Road on Friday afternoon. Again, 34-year-old Karen Silva arrested on Friday and was arraigned Saturday, given a $10,000 bond. At 7:07 on the Valley's Morning News. If you're driving a GM truck, heads up. General Motors recalling 62,000 Chevy Silverado pickup trucks. The recall is due to a brake pressure sensor assembly possibly leaking and causing a fire. GM saying that the leak could cause a short circuit, result in a heightened risk of fire if you're driving or parked. Owners of recalled Chevy Silverado medium duty 4500 HD, 5500, 6500 HD trucks from 2019 to 2025 models should park those trucks outside until the issue is fixed. At 7:07 on the Valley's Morning News. If you've got some opinions on the development of highways, traffic, and roads in the state of Texas, this is the time to speak up.
TxDOT is working on its next 10-year transportation plan, and they want your input. The draft 2026 Unified Transportation Program includes over $101 billion in proposed projects statewide, from road repairs to public transit, aviation, and bike paths. The public can now comment now through July 28th, and there's a virtual hearing set for July 23rd. To learn more or submit feedback, visit TxDOT.gov.
It's 7:08 on the Valley's Morning News. And the head of a notorious illegal immigrant smuggling ring, serving the first 2 of his life sentences at a Central Texas facility near San Antonio.
A judge threw the book at Felipe Arduna Torres. He led a smuggling ring that locked illegal immigrants in a sweltering big rig. 53 people were killed in the nation's deadliest smuggling attempt. Clint McDonald, who heads the Border Sheriff's Coalition, says this sends a message to other cartels.
Our sheriffs along this border are just tired of picking up bodies.
He says the Trump administration has closed the border, but there are still cases of human smuggling in rural areas, and that can be deadly.
That's Michael Board with that report. The time is 7:08. This is News Talk 710 KURV. It is Accu with the time. And big thank you to Dougie and all the gang over at Martin Farm and Ranch. They've got Purina Feed. It is the best. That's why Dougie and the crew at Martin Farm and Ranch, they carry it. Certified dealer of Purina Feed is Martin Farm and Ranch, Edinburgh on Monte Cristo. AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine joining us this Monday. And tropical something Barry, well south of us and went into Mexico. So the tropical rain bands, are you expecting any more of that today or what?
Potentially. So right now there's something on radar off to Brownsville's south and southwest. As far as it making it being part of Barry, that's hard to say because there's a big complex of showers and storms, and radar doesn't go far enough. So I can only see so much. That being said, satellite paints a picture. So let me pull that up here if I may. It is
still churning.
It's a moisture. It's okay. Moisture because Barry's way, to the south, kind of over central parts in the Bay of Campeche still.
Yeah, well, and by when do you think all this energy might be done? Would that be tomorrow or what?
Looks like it's going to be by even tonight. Okay. In terms of its decreasing strength, or at least the moisture from it for South Texas. It should be pretty much done maybe by tomorrow morning.
Okay. Texas travel, anything for us today?
Looks like we're good in Dallas today and tomorrow. Sunny to partly cloudy, temps in the mid to upper 90s. A thunderstorm possible in Houston, unrelated. We'll be in the low to mid 90s, and we're looking at sunshine tomorrow. San Antonio is going to be under a shower at first, And then the rest of the day and tomorrow, clouds and sun, low 90s.
Okay, another look at tropical coverage 2025. So Barry's done well south of us. Anything else developing? Caribbean, Atlantic, anything?
Not really. Caribbean, Atlantic is quiet. Eastern Gulf by Florida, there's a 20% chance of development. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet.
All right, pal. Call you next hour. That's AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine on 710 KURV. I didn't see anything on the menu for today as far as like interesting food, so we'll move on. President Trump saying that he saved Iran's leader from Israeli attacks. He made that claim in a post on Truth Social on Friday. President Trump saying that he demanded that Israel call back its planes headed to Tehran to kill the Ayatollah. The ability for lower federal courts to issue nationwide injunctions was limited by the High Court on Friday in a huge win for the Trump administration. President Trump praised the Supreme Court. It was a ruling on birthright citizenship related to the lower court judges who have filed injunctions blocking his many executive orders. The High Court's ruling limits federal district judges' ability to issue nationwide injunctions related to the effort to prohibit children born in the U.S. President Trump saying that the ruling applies to all of his executive orders, including the immigration issue. The time is 7:12 on the Valley's Morning News. Seems that Americans looking for jobs are being influenced by their debt.
A report by resume template site Zeti says 38% of survey respondents said they took a second job to pay their debts. Similarly, 37% said they took a job outside their industry or took positions they had no interest in just to pay debts. Zeti data shows that 71% of respondents have credit card debt, 37% have mortgage debt, 30% have an auto loan, and 23% have student loans. I'm Mark Mayfield.
With Independence Day this Friday, with Independence Day approaching, there's a new poll showing that pride in our country is skyrocketing among Republicans. Democrats, not so much.
58% of Americans say they're extremely or very proud to be American. That number was over 90% in the years after 9/11. The Gallup survey measured a 26-point drop-off among Democrats compared to a year ago. Pride among independents dipped 7 points to tie a historic low at 53%. For Republicans, American pride is up 7 points to 92%. I'm Rory O'Neill.
Time is 7:14. This is the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. Going to share a conversation with you with a local economist on the front lines of lending. My friend Sebi Haddad, he's one of our city commissioners in McAllen. Always taking a look at those economic numbers. Bridge crossings are down considerably in the McAllen area. Of course, McAllen being the top retail market for the area. What does that mean for sales and transactions? That's next on the Valley's Morning News.
At Rivetta's Machinery in Donna, they're bringing the best deals on Coyote equipment to your job site, your farm, or your backyard. Right now, take advantage of 0% interest or up to $6,000 cash back on Coyote track loaders and skid steers. These are machines built for maximum performance no matter the task. But don't stop there. They're also offering fantastic savings on Coyote tractors, zero-turn mowers, and utility vehicles. And whether you're hauling something, mowing, tackling other big jobs, Coyote has the equipment to help you get it done. If you're looking for great deals and great service from a team that treats you like family, look no further than Rivetta's Machinery and Coyote. Start your next project right. Visit Rivetta's Machinery in Donna or browse their deals when it suits you at mynewtractor.com. That's their website, mynewtractor.com. Rivetta's for the long haul. See dealer for full details.
Tune in for the Michael Berry Show, weeknights starting at 6 on News Talk 710 KURV, KURV.com, and on the Radio Power Me app.
You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV, your station for Astros play-by-play. They did good this past weekend. Took the series from the Cubs. Astros, they're off today, so they're on the road. They play the Rockies and then the Dodgers for the weekend, 4th of July. Play-by-play. Astros baseball on 710 KURV, made possible by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women and the Mission Economic Development Office. Let me go back to our city hall in McAllen. Sebi Haddad, one of our commissioners. Sebi, welcome back to the program. Got several things on the plate here I want to touch on. Give me, from what you have, housing starts, retail sales, some of the interesting data you're watching right now for the area.
Well, we did pull some recent data on just the housing consumer index, right? And what we've seen is there's definitely a softening of the market where we're seeing inventory rise, we're seeing starts slow down. They're still surprisingly at a very strong pace, but we can tell that there is no doubt there's going to be a softening of the market. And, just to give you an idea, there's sort of a housing market index that is compiled by the National Association of Home Builders, and they do it in conjunction with Wells Fargo. And without getting into sort of the algorithm behind it, basically a higher number is good and a lower number is worse. And just since January, that housing market index has plummeted by at least about 15 points, which is pretty significant for a short period of time of only 4 to 6 months. And as far as single family home sales, it's plummeted also about 15 to 18 points. And looking at sort of traffic of prospective buyers, right? And that one has gone down about 10 points. So what you're seeing less buyers in the market combined with a higher level of inventory that's staying on the market, and you're seeing less and less sales. So, we're just looking at it cautiously. The market still seems to be reasonably healthy, but there's no doubt there's going to become a little bit of pause and a little bit of slowdown in that residential housing market.
The numbers that you're sharing, is that Valley centric or is that more of a national report?
That's a little bit more of a national report. Mm-hmm. They do break it down sort of by the South region, which encompasses Texas and encompasses South Texas. The positive aspect to that, I will say, is the South region has remained stronger than sort of the Midwest or the Northeast or the West. And so that is a positive, that we're slightly more insulated, doing a little bit better than the national average. But in general, the entire scope of residential housing is moving in the same direction.
Yeah, we're in a different place here in South Texas with everything in the port and the thousands of jobs, and the demand for housing right now is just crazy around here.
Correct. The upside to the buyer, if you are, when you're a buyer and you've got to buy a house, you've got to look when the time is right. Yeah. But the median price percentage change month over month as well as year over year has definitely slowed, which is good. It's good for buyers because it means the home prices are starting to sort of stabilize, possibly suppress a little bit. So for buyers, it could be a good thing. If you're one of the few that's currently still in the market, you're likely to get a better deal today than you would 6 months ago.
District 5 City Commissioner McAllen, Sebi Haddad. I call on him because he looks at the economy, not only because he's at City Hall, but he is the chief lending over at Lone Star National Bank. He sees all these business trends and businesses coming in and out of the area and where the money is flowing. Now, on the housing starts, yes, housing market, might it benefit right now, just on a macro point of view, the much talked about cut in interest rates, for example. President Trump is wanting the Fed to cut rates. Would this be an appropriate time, do you think, to cut rates a bit, maybe inject a little bit of energy in the housing market?
So you're looking at two different types of rates, right? And a lot of people combine them. The Fed cut rates that Trump typically speaks about, those are interest rates that are tied into typically business investment. And so right now that rate for everyone is at 7.5. That's kind of what we look at as Wall Street prime. And what's projected right now is 2 rate cuts. They're projecting 2 rate cuts for the remainder of 2025. The question will be, will one of those rate cuts come in July? Based on some of the analysis, it seems tight, likely not. But if not, they expect the economy to continue to soften, and we would see a rate cut possibly in September, followed again by November. But when you're talking about mortgage rates are surprisingly tied to typically the 10-year Treasury and tied to bonds. And so what's funny is we could actually see, I think, rate cuts from the Fed level, which would affect businesses and probably promote a little bit more of investment. But we might not actually see rate cuts on the mortgage side, because as long as investors and sort of that foreign investment that we get into the US dollar, if they don't feel that they're getting enough of a return on purchasing U.S. securities or interest or T-bills, whatever it might be, if we can't sell it, we've got to continue to keep the rate high to incentivize them to invest. Given that mortgage rates are a direct competitor because they're either going to buy a mortgage-backed security or they're going to buy a treasury. And so mortgages are a direct competitor to those treasuries. So unless we get more confidence in what I would say the global economy to invest in the U.S. dollar, we're not going to see mortgage rates come down.
Had a chance to meet up with our mayor, Javier Villalobos, the other day. He was at a function for the county judge, and quick mention of about a 25% point decrease in traffic at the local bridge. And of course, there's some revenue there as vehicles cross. There's tolls, and there's a decrease in that. And if you have less traffic, I would imagine that affects some of the retail numbers as well, which the tolls that are not being paid might affect the bottom line over at City Hall. So tell me about that. First, the bridge crossings lower by about 25%, according to the mayor, what he told me. And of course, retail numbers, if you have those for the area, what do you see?
Yes, correct. So for those, City of McAllen is a very healthy city because we've got three strong revenue sources. Property taxes, which are incredibly stable, can be predicted down to the penny. And then you've got retail sales tax and you've got bridge revenue, right? And depending on what's happening, whether it's on a national level or even a local level or just general economy, the retail sales and the bridge revenues can be incredibly volatile or fluctuate dramatically. And so we're very cognizant of that. And we always budget very conservatively. But the mayor's right. Bridge revenues are down, which has a direct effect on hospitality, on our service industry, and on our retail sales within the local economy. There is an upside, though, because as most people are aware, we've made a tremendous amount of investment over at the Anzalduas Bridge. And as activity and commercial traffic picks up over there, that's going to be a huge source of revenue for the city of McAllen as well, given that we pretty much have pedestrian traffic coming through Hidalgo, and then we're going to grow and add a large amount of commercial traffic and revenue base from Anzalduas.
Yeah.
But of course, we'd like both of them to be strong. From a retail side, I think obviously we still see very strong sales, at least with our sales tax revenue is actually up from a dollar perspective, but I think the overall activity itself is starting to decline. And I can combine that with a little bit of data from the bank. We obviously provide merchant services, and we've got credit card processing and revenues that are generated across thousands of retailers throughout the local economy. And we can see the amount of revenue that's transacted as well as the amount of transactions. And obviously that's going down. And this includes restaurants, small retail outlets, hotels, medical offices, anyone that gets taking credit card. And so we can see that activity is definitely softening. I think the reason retail sales is still reasonably strong is because the cost of goods has elevated as well. So even though you might see less transactions, you've got more in dollar volume sort of balancing it out. So it's interesting to see that, but there's going to come a point in time where the increase in cost and the increase in cost to the consumer is really going to start to strain the typical household.
Are you looking at the comptroller's number, or are you indexing this in another way? Because again, transactions lower number of transactions, as you say. The dollar figure is higher. By what percentage year to year, according to the comptroller, for McAllen specifically? Do you have that number?
You know what? We just had that a week and a half ago. I don't recall it exactly, but it was definitely 2 to 4% greater, I believe.
Which would be muscle menos in line. Yeah, that's good. In line with inflation, because we're at like 2.7. I think that's what I heard the year to year figure.
That's correct. 2.7. And what's funny is when you speak about inflation. Obviously inflation is one of the big factors related to the Fed cutting their rate. And we've seen the reason there's an expected Fed cut rate possibly in July is because they believe that inflation could be sort of stabilizing. It's still above 2, but it's, in the 2.4 to 2.7 range. And I think they want to anticipate the softening of the economy rather than cut the rate after the economy's already softened. And so we could see a potential rate drop here in July, but there's still a lot of questions revolving around tariffs. And so there's some analysis that's been done on how tariffs will affect us for the next 5 years, from about 2025 to about 2030. And even though tariffs, they say, well, it's 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, or they're coming on, but they're coming off, and we're changing it and we're making agreements. I look forward to stabilized agreements being put in place, but there's no doubt that the tariff landscape as a whole, however it will change, has already changed and had a ripple effect through the economy. So previously, the effect of tariffs was pretty stable, and we have some analysis that shows that through 2030, the typical cost of inflation rates was about 2.1 to maybe 1.8. Well, even if tariffs are a very short-term thing, even if they're fully removed, a lot of companies have already started to implement added cost, added burden, and they're not, most companies aren't very good at reducing their prices. And so, in 2025 alone, the change on prior years inflation rate is expected to be about 7.5 for this year, and it drops down to about 6.4 next year, 4.5 the year after that, 3.5 in 2028, and then only in 2029 and 2030 are retailers looking at the inflationary rate sort of going at 3.1 to 2.8, basically back in line to where we were before sort of the this new trade war that we've seen over the last 4 months.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's some good news. A couple of days back, it happened, and we're barely getting any information on this. And I'm hoping that maybe in the new week coming up, we can get some details. But supposedly, you got the trade chief and top economic chiefs at the White House saying that we're done with China. It's a deal. They've got a deal. They had it like 2 days ago, and they got 10 more countries. And I'm hoping it's Mexico. That's one of them.
Me too.
10 more countries, right? That will be in line here very soon with new trade agreements to try to stabilize those waters. Sebi Haddad, Commissioner, Place 5, City of McAllen. I could talk with Sebi all day long about stuff like this. I love. He's my fellow economic soulmate, my economic nerd. He likes following all this stuff. I learn so much when I speak with him, and that's why I bring him on the program. He's the chief lending issues over at Lone Star National Bank, one of the major vice presidents there. Some city stuff before I let you go real quick. 10th Street and the freeway, a major development. The old Bowie Reservoir near the airport, all that land moving around left and right. Potential development there. Have you had a chance to assess what might be coming up? Maybe economic impact, maybe some employment. What can you tell us?
Yeah, for sure. So there's definitely some exciting things happening in the city of McAllen. The project on 10th and Expressway, obviously everyone can see there's development occurring. That is a private developer, and they're looking to bring in some first to market concepts. So it'll be very interesting to see what else they're able to land. I know they're under negotiation with several national brands.
Good.
And the one that I think a lot of people know that is already going there is Portillo's. But as usual, McAllen's focused on sort of first to market, driving people to our area. And that's tens of millions being ported to that development on a very prominent corner. So we're happy to see that come to fruition. So the Bowie Reservoir, I know our city manager in probably give me about 2 weeks, but I think within 2 weeks, he'll be holding a press conference to sort of get the public engaged and involved in some future planning for that site.
Okay.
There is a large scale proposed idea, but we want to put it out there for the investor public, for the local public, and get more engagement to see what we could do on that property. But yeah, there's a lot to be revealed on that, and it's coming up honestly within a week or two.
It'd be nice to see more destination sites, more destination type of businesses for family entertainment, things like that. It'd be really nice to see that for McAllen. Sebi, thank you for all your time, and we'll call you again. Or he's the Chief Vice President, Lending Issues, Lone Star National Bank, also a Commissioner for City of McAllen, District Number 5, Sebi Haddad. Thank you, Sebi.
Thank you.
You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. This is Newstalk 710 KURV, also at Radio Para Mi, your station for Astros baseball. Check out sports up next.
Hi there. My name is Tony Bolstead. My wife and I, Carol, own Sand Monsters. We'd like you to come on out and have fun. We've got a half-mile long track out here. It runs across about 3.5 acres. Have adult cars and kid cars getting laps in, learning how to drive on the sand, and We also lease space to Redline Helicopters is one of our tenants here, and they've got a pad and they do helicopter tours. Lone Star National Bank and the team there really helped us get this thing put together, answered all our questions, huge help.
I am Stephanie Harrison. I am the second generation owner of Sisters Interiors on South Padre Island. We had always dreamed of owning our own land and owning our own building, using our design team to create what you see here today. That's how we got involved with Lone Star National Bank. We partnered with them and they helped us, create the dream.
Nothing says summer like a cold glass of lemonade, especially when it's made with love by the campers at Camp University. Our lemonade stand isn't just about quenching your thirst. It's about teaching real-life business skills and customer service skills to adults with disabilities. Join us for a refreshing treat on July 9th from 12:30 to 2 at 4200 North Main Street in McAllen. So grab your friends, bring the kids, stop by for a sip and a smile, and see how excited our campers will be to see you.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Charlie Kirk here, host of The Charlie Kirk Show, inviting you to stay tuned for The Sergio Show with Sergio Sanchez, coming up a little later on this morning starting at 9 on News Talk 710 KURV.
The 710 KURV Sports Desk is brought to you by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women.
I'm Kevin Walker. The Texas Rangers dropped the series against their kryptonite, the Seattle Mariners, after extending the third straight game to extras. But that just wouldn't be enough after former Ranger Mitch Garver put the Mariners on top by 3 in the top of the 12th. The loss falls on the shoulder of Cole Winn after a fantastic career high performance by Jack Leiter on the bump, grabbing 7 Ks through 6 innings, allowing just 1 run. Next up, the Rangers will stay home to welcome the Baltimore Orioles. First pitch at the Globe is set for tonight at 7 with Patrick Corbin on the mound. I'm Kevin Walker.
MLB, Cardinals over the Guardians 7-0. Gorman and Scott with home runs. Pirates hammer the Mets 12-1. O'Neill Cruz with 2 home runs. Yankees 12, A's 5. Aaron Judge, a couple 2-run homers. The Phillies beat the Braves 2-1. Ranger Suarez strikes out 8 in 7 innings. Orioles over the Rays 5-1. Dean Kramer with 6 strikeouts. Jays beat the Red Sox 5-3 as they get home runs from Barger and Vlad Guerrero Jr. In 11 frames, Rockies 4 and the Brewers 3. That snaps a 5-game skid for Colorado. Astros blank the Cubs 2-0. Jose Altuve a 2-run shot. Reds over the Padres 3-2. Will Benson, the game-winning single. And the Dodgers beat the Royals 5-1. LA tied with the Tigers for the best mark in MLB. That's sports. I'm Trey Bender.
AccuWeather says highs for today. Check this out, mid-80s. Isn't that crazy? Mid-80s. It's a result of expected cloud cover and some rain. So there you go. We got some rain south of us. You can see it at that Brownsville radar. It's trucking this way. So those are the remnants and the outstretched rain bands from that tropical system Barry that went into Mexico well south of us. So chance of rain for today, on and off, and high should be mid-upper 80s. Border Bridge wait times is posted on KURV.com. Go back to our website. Updated numbers, 30-minute wait time if you're headed back to Brownsville on the Veterans Bridge. 30 minutes if you're headed back to Harlingen at Los Indios, and 10 to 20 minutes, Hidalgo and Far for McAllen. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News. This is News Talk 710 KURV. We invite you to join us at Radio Para Mi. Download that free app.
If you're looking to improve your overall health and have a better quality of life, Dr. T's Primary Care is the place to go. If you feel tired or stressed or less motivated, if you're moody or if you have trouble sleeping, Dr. T's Primary Care will evaluate you and work with you to address your health concerns, including testosterone or menopause treatment, peptide treatment, IV vitamin infusions. Their licensed staff will take the time to listen to you and work with you to improve your overall health. Check out the website, drtsprimarycare.com. Give them a call in McAllen at 956-803-0058 in Harlingen, 956-368-5247.
Independence Day means a lot to the Valley, like family, fireworks, and freedom. Join the city of McAllen as we come together to launch the 97th Annual Independence Day celebration presented by HEB. The full day of excitement kicks off at 7 a.m. with the Independence 4K run at Archer Park, benefiting veteran health and wellness through Team RWB. The nonstop family fun continues with giant 4th of July floats seen in the Main Street Parade. Games, rides, and treats at the Freedom Festival at Archer Park, followed by a chance to cool off at the Aquatica Extravaganza, taking place at Municipal Pool. McAllen's Independence Day celebration presented by HEB concludes at Municipal Park with food trucks, 6 p.m. live entertainment by Desert Bloom and the Texas Storm Band, and closes with an unforgettable concert in the sky at 9 p.m. July 4th in McAllen. Follow us on social media at McAllen Parks and visit McAllenParks.net to plan your full day of fun.
Audio streaming on KURV.com. Powered by South Texas Buick GMC. McAllen Mission.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Oil prices are slightly lower as an easing of geopolitical risks in the Middle East and the prospect of another OPEC Plus output hike in August improves supply expectations. West Texas Intermediate currently sitting at $65.33 per barrel. Brent currently sitting at $67.64 per barrel. Reuters reports that Nissan Motor has asked some suppliers to allow it to delay payments to free up short-term funds. New CEO Ivan Espinoza, who took over in April, has unveiled plans to shed around 15% of Nissan's global workforce and close 7 plants as he targets $3.4 billion in cost cuts over the next 2 years. Oreo fans are over the moon excited about the news of a beloved flavor coming back to supermarket shelves. The brand shared the exciting news that blueberry pie Oreos will be making a comeback after being discontinued back in 2017. Futures are moderately higher. Friday, the Dow Industrials gained 432. That's Your Money Now.
The Valley's Morning News on Newstalk 710 KURV, and a Canadian firm looking at the top 100 cities in America, America's best cities, putting Houston in the lead of Texas cities as best to live in. Things like livability, they looked at loveability, as they call it. Also prosperity and opportunity for jobs in an area. Houston at number 13 in the country. Dallas and Austin 14 and 15. San Antonio lagging behind at 41. El Paso, which has a population of about 600,000. They only looked at cities with 500,000 people or more. El Paso was 100 on their list. Number 1 in the nation, New York, they said. This is the Valley's Morning News on Newstalk 710 KURV with a check of AccuWeather.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast is going to be partly sunny at first. Heavy gusty thunderstorms push through in the afternoon with a high around 85. Clouds are going to be around still tonight and even a shower for tomorrow morning, low around 74 to 78. Tomorrow afternoon, clouds and sunshine 84 to 89. And then a morning thunderstorm on Wednesday gives way to a cloudy, breezy afternoon 89. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine on the Valley's official weather station, 710 KURV.
And if you look at KURV.com, also Freddie's posting it on our live broadcast in the 7 o'clock hour. Back to the Brownsville radar. Got some rain headed this way. Hopefully it holds across the valley again. That should be on and off for the most part. Join us for conversations with AccuWeather 8 minutes after the hour on the morning news. Heads up if you're driving a Chevy Silverado 4500, 5500, 6500 HD. Yeah, we got news for you. You might want to park that vehicle outside the garage for a few days. We'll tell you why coming up in about 3 minutes on the Valley's Morning News. Happy Monday.
It's hurricane season. The time to prepare is now. Stay ahead of the storm with Tropical Coverage 2025 on News Talk 710 KURV, your trusted source for real-time updates. With resources from AccuWeather and the National Weather Service, we'll bring you the information you need to be ready and be prepared. Tropical Coverage 2025 is powered by Mike's Plumbing, Electrical, and AC, McAfee Agency, Insurance, Lee's Pharmacy, and News Talk 710 KURV.
Nothing says summer like a cold glass of lemonade, especially when it's made with love by the campers at Camp University. Our lemonade stand isn't just about quenching your thirst. It's about teaching real-life business skills and customer service skills to adults with disabilities. Join us for a refreshing treat on July 9th from 12:30 to 2 at 4200 North Main Street in McAllen. So grab your friends, bring the kids, stop by for a sip and a smile, and see how excited our campers will be to see you.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, we understand the future of any community will always depend on the health and well-being of its newest members. Because when a mom and child's life together begins with the right support, the positive effects on those all around them are exponential. That's why we're proud to be launching the Special Beginnings program, providing a unique 360-degree scope of maternal health tools and services, including advanced technology revealing key health risks, along with our dedicated advocacy teams, helping new moms get the right care at the right time. As communities, we're only as strong as our most vulnerable, and with each promising newborn, a promise for a healthier tomorrow also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, through it all.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
News Talk 710 KURV. News and weather information at your fingertips.
There was only one place to get the information I needed.
Log on to KURV.com.
It's News Radio for South Texas, the Valley's Morning News. Also at Radio Para Mi. Download the free app. I'm Sergio Sanchez, along with show producer Fred Cruz, AccuWeather meteorologist Jeffrey Nordine. You and family, we got rain in the forecast today. Tropical rain, some of those rain bands from that tropical system Barry that went into Mexico, well south of us. As a result of the rain and clouds, highs should be mid-80s. News on 710 KURV, a service of Jay Gonzalez, injury attorneys, ready to fight for you. Call 1-800-CAR-CRASH.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The Republicans' so-called One Big Beautiful Bill has made it to the Senate with votes on amendments all day, then a final vote expected this evening. Tennessee Republican Marsha Blackburn on Fox on changes to Medicaid.
Those benefits are not there for illegal aliens, and as I say, freeloaders and fraudsters. They are there for the people that deserve them.
North Carolina Republican Tom Tillis opposes the bill, saying it
will hurt people who are eligible and qualified for Medicaid.
And he announced he's not running for re-election after President Trump threatened to find a primary challenger in Idaho.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
Cooney County Sheriff Bob Norris is a sniper who shot and killed 2 firefighters, wounding a third, was found dead next to a gun on Canfield Mountain. He says the gunman started a wildfire first to draw firefighters in, and flames were surrounding the body when they pulled it out. America's listening to Fox News.
A Mission man arrested following the death of a baby that was left inside a hot vehicle. Investigators were called to the Mission Regional Hospital this past weekend. 34-year-old Ricardo Mata allegedly admitted that he left the baby in the back seat of a locked vehicle outside his home. He also reportedly admitted to drinking and forgetting that the child was inside the vehicle. General Motors recalling over 62,000 Chevy Silverado trucks. The recall is due to a brake pressure sensor assembly possibly leaking and causing a fire. GM saying that the leak could cause a short circuit, and this would result in a fire risk if you're driving or parked. So if you own a Chevy Silverado medium duty 4500 HD or 5500 or 6500 HD truck from 2019 to 2025, GM says you may want to park that outside until the issue is resolved. North Texas, Terrell, a truck driver in custody accused of causing an accident that killed at least 5 people on I-20 near Terrell on Saturday afternoon. A state trooper saying that Alexis Gonzalez Compani fell asleep at the wheel of his big rig that caused the chain reaction accident. Consumer spending slowed in the month of May for the first decline since January. Government figures show personal spending fell about 1/10 of a point. Americans are getting ready for the 4th of July weekend holiday.
Next week will be a short one for many working Americans as Independence Day falls on a Friday this year. AAA is expecting a record number of travelers this year, with over 72 million people expected to travel 50 miles or more for the holiday. That includes 60 million hitting the roads, where you'll pay less at the pump. More from Christine Romans.
We're really looking at gas prices that are best in 4 years. And this is so important for all of those millions of people who will be hitting the roads. Starting on Tuesday, that's when this starts. July 1st, Tuesday through the next Monday. That's the big travel period for people who are driving.
I'm Lisa Taylor.
President Trump shrugging off an upcoming deadline for U.S. tariffs to go back into effect for several countries.
Trump told Fox News he will soon inform those countries they can trade with the U.S., but the tariffs are returning.
I'm going to send letters. That's the end of the trade deal. I could send one to Japan. Dear Mr. Japan, here's the story. You're going to pay a 25% tariff.
The White House deadline for countries to come to the bargaining table is July 9th. Trump told Fox News that it's going to be very simple. He says he's going to send letters to the countries that don't make a deal by then and inform them they can trade with the U.S., but the tariffs are returning. I'm Mark Mayfield.
The race for one of Texas' 2 Senate seats is getting crowded.
Even Texas Democrats, who have not won a statewide race in decades, think they have a shot at unseating Senator John Cornyn. A number of high-profile names have been dropped, including San Antonio's Congressman Joaquin Castro.
I think he sees, like a lot of others, blood in the water. John Cornyn's in trouble, big-time trouble.
UTSA professor John Taylor says it's not just Democrats who are flooding this race for Senate. There's a number of fringe Republicans thinking of running too. The problem with all of them, he says, is name recognition. Outside of Congressman Castro, he says they're all virtual unknowns.
A girl is recovering after she went overboard on a Disney cruise this past weekend. Her father jumped into the water to save the child. A Disney Cruise Line spokesperson saying crew members aboard the Disney Cruise Line also got involved, hopefully in a happy ending. The cruise ship was headed back to Fort Lauderdale from the Bahamas, authorities investigating. GE Appliances is going to spend close to $500 million to move most of their washing machine production from China to Kentucky. You're in tune with the Valley's Morning News on News Talk 710 KURV. Join us online at Radio Para Mi. Download that free app. If you're looking for work, I believe that you should make a phone call to my friend Brian Reed at the uber successful Ryan and Brian real estate team. My friend Brian Reed can take you under his wing. Let's say you're successful, you have a career, it's not in real estate. You've been thinking, I want to get into the home selling business, home buying, home selling business. I want to be a realtor. Yeah, in this rapidly expanding economy, I think that's a good idea. There's a lot of demand for homes. I think we're going to be just fine here in the Rio Grande Valley. So call Brian Reed personally and say, hey, Ryan, I'm successful. Brian, I'm successful in this career. I'd like to do real estate. Can you show me the ropes? He will bring you aboard to the Brian and Brian real estate team. His personal number, 956-307-4544. I'll give you that here in just a second. Again, if you are a realtor and you just need to expand your playbook, be successful, get more sales, be part of a winning team, call Brian Reed as well and join the Ryan and Brian real estate team. And if you're looking to pivot, do a new career opportunity and make some money, absolutely. It's the Ryan and Brian real estate team. RyanandBrian.com, the website, look for the career tab or call my friend Brian Reed personally at 956-307-4544.
If you're selling your home, don't be trying. Call Ryan and Brian. Go to RyanandBrian.com.
Improve your overall health and enjoy a better quality of life with Dr. T's Primary Care. You're trying to set some new weight goals. If you're too moody or stressed out or just tired and trying to get more sleep, Dr. T's Primary Care can help you with all of that and more. If you're worried about things like low testosterone, Dr. T is a primary care provider from the sniffles to the flu and also offer menopause treatment, peptide treatment, and IV vitamin infusions. McAllen area, call 956-803-0058 and in Harlingen, 956-368-5247. That's drt'sprimarycare.com.
You're listening to the mighty Rio Grande Valley's only News Talk station. News Talk 710 KURV.
Your 710 KURV AccuWeather forecast is going to be partly sunny at first. Heavy gusty thunderstorms push through in the afternoon with a high around 85. Clouds are going to be around still tonight and even a shower for tomorrow morning, low around 74 to 78. Tomorrow afternoon, clouds and sunshine 84 to 89. And then a morning thunderstorm on Wednesday gives way to a cloudy, breezy afternoon 89. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Nordine on the Valley's official weather station.
Summer is heating up, and so is our local economy. From sizzling business deals to community connections, News Talk 710 KURV and the Radio Potami app are here to keep you in the know. Download the Radio Potami app to stay informed and entertained. Whether it's local market updates, summer events, or the weather, we've got you covered. Support local, stay connected, and tune in to the pulse of Rio Grande Valley business. News Talk 710 KURV.